Alright, it's Chef Buck here, and today we're gonna do a simple egg bake, kind of a fancy pants looking dish. We're having a leisurely breakfast, because I mean you can cook up eggs and spinach and tomato, boom, lickety split. This is gonna take a little bit longer because we're gonna bake it, but it's gonna be beautiful. But we're going to saute up a few ingredients, so I'm just using some coconut oil. Use whatever kind of oil you like. I'm gonna use green onions for this recipe, and I'm just going to saute up the white part of the onion. So get those cut up in there, and then I'm going to reserve the green tops. We'll just put our onions in here. Boom, boom. Give my onions just a couple minute head start there. I'm going to chop up the green onion tops, and we'll add these later in the dish, and we'll also save some for a garnish too. I'm going to throw in just a little bit of heat. You know, this is optional. I just got a few slices of pickled jalapeno, Japalino.
So they're not quite as strong as raw.
Well, it all depends, you know.
That's true.
Sometimes you get a raw jalapeno and it's not too bad, and sometimes it just kicks your butt.
Starting to smell good.
I got some minced garlic right here. Not minced, finely chopped.
Garlic, garlic.
Now for seasoning, it's going to keep it very simple. Just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to throw in some Italian seasoning. So I'm using about a teaspoon. Just rub it in there and start to release those flavors a little bit. So all told, we're just sauteing this for about 2 to 3 minutes. You know, you just want to make sure you don't burn your garlic. Although occasionally I do burn my garlic, and it's not the end of the world. Now I'm going to put some chopped tomatoes in here. This is about 1.5 cups. I got 2 Roma tomatoes. Use whatever kind of tomatoes you like.
Could you use drained canned tomatoes?
You know, I wouldn't use canned tomatoes for this dish. I like using fresh tomatoes, because we're not going to cook it that long. We're not going to bake it for that long. And we're not going to saute it up here for too long either. Basically, we're just going to heat the tomatoes through. In fact, since it's such a good amount of tomatoes, I'm going to throw a little bit more salt in here. But again, salt and pepper is to taste. So follow your heart. So I got my tomato mixed up with these flavors, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in a bunch of spinach. This is like 2 cups of spinach. You know, just figure like 1 Roma tomato and 1 cup of spinach per person if you're making separate little ramekins. So I'll give this about a minute to wilt down and soften up. Alrighty, so I've had this semi-steaming for about a minute. I'm going to go ahead and throw some of these green onion tops on here, because I don't need all of these for a garnish. And I got a bunch of parsley too. I'm going to save some of this for a garnish. So I'll put about half of it in there. And you can put whatever kind of herbs you like. You know, if you've got fresh thyme, you know, you don't have to use the Italian seasoning. If you've got basil, thyme, cilantro, whatever fresh kind of seasonings and greens you want to put in here. This is a lot of spinach and tomato, and this is going to be the heart of the dish. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. Come over here and take a peek at our dishes here. Hammer girl. So I've got my little egg dishes here, and I got them lightly greased up there. And I'm going to put some cheese on the bottom. I got some freshly grated Romano cheese. But I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on the bottom, and I'm going to put a little cheese on the top and make it super cheesy.
Because you're a cheesy kind of guy.
That's right. I'm a super cheesy guy. Now I'm going to take my sauteed ingredients here, and I'm going to split it between these two. So I'll put half of it in one and half of it in the other.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, that's why I like to use a lot of spinach and tomato with this here. I like to have lots of this green and red. Alright, so I'm going to spread this out, kind of flatten it out a little bit.
It smells so good.
Well, you know, it's that Italian seasoning and that little bit of garlic. You want to make sure and use a shallow dish for this, or spread it out so it's shallow, because we're not going to bake it for very long. I'm going to put a little bit more cheese on the top here.
So you talk about Parmesan or Romano. Those are harder cheeses.
Yeah, and they have a lot of flavor. And I'm going to take a little bit of half and half, put on here and creamy it up a bit. And you don't want to put a lot in here, because the tomato and the spinach are going to release some moisture in your dish. So it's already going to be kind of wet. So don't put too much half and half. Alright, so we got our ingredients spread out there. Now I'm going to make a little impression for my eggs to sit, and this will help to strategically place our eggs so they're going to be in the most visually appealing position. You want to be very careful cracking your eggs and putting them on here. You don't want to bust your yolk if you can avoid it, because the whole point of this dish is to make it visually appealing. And if you crack your yolk, you know, you ain't gonna win no beauty contest with that. But if you do crack it, you know, it's not gonna be the end of the world. So now we've got these filled up. We've got it topped with our egg. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a little pan and slide it in the oven because it'll be easier to handle. So I got my oven heated up to 375, preheated, and I'm just gonna slide in the oven, let it bake away for 15 to 20 minutes. Alrighty, so they've been going for 15 minutes. Let's see.
Ooh, creamy yolk.
Yeah, looking bueno bueno. A little jiggly on the top. I'm gonna let them go for 1 more minute. We want our yolks runny, but you want the whites done all the way through, or at least we do. So I'm gonna let it go maybe another minute, maybe another 2 minutes. Alright, so it's been 2 more minutes. Boom, and I think that's where we're gonna call it quits. Because the eggs are gonna continue to cook a little bit once you get them out of there. Because it's super hot, but our yolks are still pretty runny. And plus it's gonna be creamy in here because we put the half and half, plus the tomato and the spinach still have moisture in them. So I'm gonna move these carefully over to my serving plate. And while it's hot, I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit more cheese on here. This is optional. Again, you know, just put as much cheese as you like, or no cheese at all. And I got some of my green onion tops for garnish.
You can leave the extra parsley off mine.
No parsley on yours? What are you, crazy? Alrighty, well I like parsley on mine, so I like all the fresh herbs. And a lot of people don't have a high opinion of parsley, but I'm a fan of parsley.
What are you? The Parsley Advocacy
Parsley
Society?
is the chef buck of herbs. You know, it don't get no respect. Let's go in here and chow down while these are hot. Alrighty, boom. Busted my yolk here, and I got the parsley topping on here. Let's see.
Whoa.
Whoa, it's just a spoonful.
Or 2 or 3.
I love this combo of spinach and tomato. You know, if your mother-in-law's coming over, this is what you want to make her. If you care about what she thinks, you know. Maybe you just want to make her plain burned scrambled eggs if you don't like your mother-in-law. This dish definitely doesn't last. If you want to print it, go to myfoodchannel.com. Print all our recipes there. Thumbs it up. What else should I say?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. What else? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future. Bye-bye. Mine's all gone.
Well, don't come looking over here. I'm about to put the camera down. You ain't
I'll
getting
bake me another one, mother humpers.